Hey everybody, what's up? What's happening? It's Sam here to give a little disclaimer to this week's episode of DMT Reviews. Well, last week you could clearly tell that episode did not drop because technical difficulties again. It seems to be that the even episodes of this podcast just do not want to record properly, or at least not until I decided to take things into my own hands. But anyways, so I couldn't really salvage that thing, but at the very least, it did salvage my very, very personal on-camera freak out about the whole situation, so figured I'd share that right here at the top of the episode, get you guys right into it, because this episode with Falcon and Winter Soldier actually recorded properly, so go ahead, stick around, enjoy me flipping out, and then enjoy the show. See ya.
You've got to be fucking shitting me. That's the audio shit that it was doing in episode 2. This whole thing is fucked. Fuck.
Damn.
Fucking spent all this fucking money on this fucking equipment and it doesn't want to fucking work. God damn it.
Sam meets up with Mrs. Morgan.
Fuck! You know, that's never fucking happening again. I am using the little memory card slot in this. That's never fucking happening again. It's loading on there. I'm taking out that, plugging it in here. I'm so fucking done with that shit. Oh dude, oh my god. You've got to be fucking shitting me right now. That was 40 fucking minutes.
Yeah.
Gone. You've got to be fucking shitting me right now. Oh my god.
It was just because of where the memory card was?
No!
Oh, okay.
It's because of the fucking USB connection with this. And it doesn't tell me anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not like we can hear it while we're recording.
Damn it!
I mean, it works though. You know, we've had multiple episodes that work, so it's a fixable thing.
Yeah, but it'd be nice if this thing didn't fucking do it while we were recording and we just got almost done with it.
Right.
You're literally at the end.
Mm-hmm. No, I get it, man.
Fuck!
I get it.
Okay, oh shit, that's recorded me flip out.
Nah, it's okay. We'll look back on it in 3 weeks and laugh.
All right, there we go.
What's up? What's happening?
Yeah, Jack, get ready. Yeah! That's the vibe. That's the vibe. Welcome to DMT Reviews, baby! I'm Sam Butler. Flappy over here is Jack Anderson, and we're all fired up. This new episode with proper equipment. Not gonna fuck up. Like with episodes 2 and 4. And you better believe we're going into this episode hot. But first, check us out. Head over to bestworstcantina.com and get our merch. We got DMT hats, as well as plenty of other shit on there too that's like way too much for me to list out here. But keep an eye out. We'll also have shirts going up, all sorts of fun stuff. And then, on top of that, we got me on Instagram, him on Instagram, also on Twitch, SammyB_DMT, Silverback Sasquatch 1162. Go follow us. Because he's got like 5 or 6 other podcasts that he does throughout the week. But let's go, Jack. Let's get into it with Falcon and Winter Soldier episode 4 and the final 5 episodes of Primal. Let's do it.
You mean Falcon Winter Soldier episode 5, you mean?
Was it episode 5?
It was indeed.
Oh, well.
Which is sad because, you know.
Yeah, episode 4 was what got lost.
Yeah, we're coming to a close, you know, and it's a bummer, you know.
Yeah.
It makes me sad,
It's
but
a real bummer.
very, very excited by what they got lined up. That song was so dope. It reminded me so much of a theme song for a show that I couldn't stop trying to remember it. I couldn't come to it. And I thought if I started talking about it.
Fillmore.
Oh, what is
I
it?
don't know.
You start talking. I got to think of this. Hold on.
Welcome to the dance floor, boys.
So,
I can't remember.
you can't remember it. That's hilarious. I don't know. It sounded familiar to me too, but I liked it.
It makes me think of it's like a mafia documentary that I watched or something like that.
mockumentary? I know what you're talking
mockumentary.
about.
Yes, indeed. Anyway, let's talk about Birds and Metal Arms.
Yes, let's go.
Yeah.
So right out the gate, we got Bucky, Falcon, fighting Giant Captain America himself, John Walker. And that was such an intense scene because you saw how fucking twisted up it made John.
Yeah, John is a tricky character, man. He's because like we've talked about a lot now. America hates this guy because he is like perfectly representing.
He's such a good reflection.
And this show's so brilliant. It really is. We gave WandaVision a lot of hype, and I feel like we've under appreciated what Falcon Winter Soldier is. WandaVision got so much hype for this portrayal of depression and grief, which I think they just did beautifully with. I think they really gave that a story. Well, they're doing that with Falcon Winter Soldier in so many, and like they really are kind of taking on the legacy of America.
The question of what is America?
Yeah,
who is America?
Which, if there's ever a time to do it, it's right now.
Exactly, because they're dealing with. Oh well, we saw ourselves as the Steve Rogers. Honestly, we probably were Steve Rogers. In World War II. As far as how the world saw us, sure.
Well, and I think a lot of Americans are Steve Rogers, but I also think just as many Americans are John Walker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
John Walker is a reflection of where we are now.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you tack on top of it, which it didn't even occur to me that was what played into Sam's insecurity about taking the mantle, was how America would handle its representation being by a black guy, because it went so south with Isaiah.
Right.
And I mean, very valid point. And I mean, I was wondering what they were getting at with the race stuff, because it seemed like, are they really just getting at this because it's topical?
Right.
No, it's because it is topical, and because it does. It carries such a weight, this whole fucking mantle of Captain America.
Right.
I mean, like a symbol. It's the symbol.
And
it's the American flag.
We haven't really gotten any sort of a story of really any sort of racial context in the MCU. In a lot of ways, it's like, do we need to focus on that when aliens are popping out of the sky and stuff like that? Do we need to focus on that in Wakanda, which is a super advanced African nation? Not necessarily, but they did with Killmonger. And I thought they did a really, really, really good job with that. I thought, because what he was, him being the villain with that mentality, and like, not that, people resonated with the villainy. They resonated with the message. You see it with the Joker and the Dark Knight. You see it with Thanos and Infinity War. Like, a good bad guy has relatable ideas.
Jack, it was Martin Luther King versus Malcolm X in that movie.
Oh, yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
So it's really the conflict of what is black excellence. And
Right.
that's what I think made it his character, Killmonger's character, resonate so much.
Yeah.
Because there are so many people, who just feel that way.
Right.
And I can
It's
believe
very
it.
reasonable.
It's
And
very reasonable.
what's cool about Sam, because, Rhodey has always just, been Tony's, number 2 guy. And outside of that, I can't really think of a black American character in the MCU that has like a substantial role, and at least not to Sam's level at this point.
No.
So Sam really is the perfect person to look at this with. And I also think, again, I meant to send this to you and Jake also. I just forgot, but like, it's a dumb little Marvel meme that you see on Instagram, but it was just, remember who you are, not just a soldier, and it shows John Walker, but a good man, and it shows Steve Rogers, and it reminds you that, like, because that's the thing that the guy says in episode 3 is like, nobody was able to reproduce Erskine's formula, you know what I mean? But I did, and it was going to be all about creating subtle power and blah, blah. And it's like, but that's not why Erskine created the thing, you know what I mean? Like, that's what makes characters so important. Well,
that's why Steve, being so skinny and fucking frail with asthma and flat feet and all that fucking shit, was the perfect candidate for it, because it's about the character of the person, and that was his whole thing. It brings out who you are.
Yeah, exactly.
More of who you are. And
Yeah.
I mean, even Battlestar said that before he died, was like, I think power makes you more of who you are.
Who you are, yeah.
It wasn't even about the serum specifically.
Yeah.
But
it's just in general. And it's a brilliant thing to look at now with, I don't know, just the different, like I'm looking, okay, so we're looking at America's legacy, right? And who are the characters we're looking at it through? We're looking at it through a black American. We're looking at it through a, 1940s American who was used as a Russian and Nazi soldier, assassin for X number of years, and now is like coming to terms with that. And we're looking at it through, like, quote unquote, the ideal American soldier in this day and age, which is a person with a lot of accolades and a lot of, publicity and somebody that people will recognize. And
but they don't know why.
They don't know why. Imagine if Steve Rogers, I don't think the Steve Rogers story would work in the 2000s, would work anytime but the 1940s, because that was a very like, we're going to go win the day. Good men are going to go do the right thing.
We're going to show old Adolf what for.
We're going to give a little sock to the jaw. You know what I mean? And it's like Steve Rogers could fit that, and like a skinny, like, and I think it being detached in history so much allows you to see the metaphor of it a lot more.
Think about it too. World War II, everybody in America was on board.
Yeah.
These wars and conflicts in the Middle East could not be more of a fucking polarizing fucking subject.
Vietnam, I mean, like,
Vietnam too.
Years, we're going decades and I mean, really, since World War II, I don't know if America has been involved in a conflict that was universally agreed upon, you know, which is interesting and something to keep in mind. And
like, even with 9/11 being the impetus that they used, the excuse they used to go invade Iraq, it still didn't have, like, sure, we had a huge sense of American pride and unity after we were attacked.
But it wasn't about go kill them, you know? Yeah, it was about find the guy responsible for this. But then outside
10
of
years
that,
later.
Right, exactly. But like, even then, it's cool to see that, because it gives you kind of a more insight into the collective consciousness, which is really much more of a, we got to come together and do this, versus kind of World War II is let's come together and let's win, because it's still like a lot about winning. Like, America didn't really become the world superpower until after World War II.
Oh, we became the world police.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what the whole point of Team America is to point out how fucking ridiculous it is that we keep sticking our noses in everybody's shit.
Right, and it's like the GRC, in Falcon Winter Soldier is interesting.
Global Reformation Committee.
Because they clearly are a international organization, but everything seems to happen in America with them. You know what I mean? Like, the thing is happening in New York, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, well, in that panel, it was only like senators and generals from the American military and government.
Right. And like, they, send John Walker to these international incidents and stuff like that. And that is, again, it was so interesting. So going back to the episode, let's talk about the fight. Let's get into this thing.
Right out the gate.
Yeah, John Walker running, doing his thing, processing this. And again, this is why John Walker's so fascinating, because like, most villains would not bat an eye about killing somebody. You know what I mean? It would just... That's their goal is too big. We can't focus on this. We have to move forward, right? John Walker, that's a big enough deal. You know what I mean? Blood on the shield, all this different stuff. And we start to really see, I don't even know if he's so much manic as he's just really insecure. Like, he's just unbelievably insecure.
All those quotes and sound bites we kept hearing from him, the people talking to him, Battlestar, all that stuff was stuff that was...
You make the right decision. In the heat of the moment.
So it was all stuff that was supporting to him, that he was trying to use to justify what he just did. He's trying to do mental gymnastics to justify what he just did.
And he's like blatantly lying that guy killed Lamar. You know, he's denying. So then
like, that was the narrative he immediately made. And so it's like he can just be like, I didn't fuck up.
Yeah.
There's no way I could have fucked up.
This was justice.
If I fucked up, then they wouldn't have made me Captain America.
Exactly.
They made me Captain America for a reason.
Which, think about just from an exterior Marvel standpoint, or from an exterior worldly standpoint outside of Marvel, how many people feel that way in all their jobs? You know what I mean? Fake it till you make it. It's that's the truth. And a lot of people are faking it till they make it, but they don't want to admit that they're faking it, because that's a weakness and that would reveal a flaw, right? And we set ourselves up for it, and John Walker is just a representation of the grander society, which is so brilliant because it's a comic book show.
Yeah. You know what's funny is, like, that the perfect example of that is the first sketch in I Think You Should Leave with Tim Robinson. And it's where he just got done having a job interview with a guy, and he crushed the interview, and he goes to leave, but it's a push door, and he pulls it, and the guy's like, oh, I guess that was a push. And he's just like, oh, no, it's a pull. I come here all the time. It goes both ways. And then he yanks the door off the fucking things because he's just trying to fake how he's like, I have to be the guy that just interviewed.
Yep.
And if I fuck up right now in front of this guy, it's over for me.
Yep.
So I have to be right in this situation. John Walker is opening that door in the wrong way.
And the beautiful thing about Steve Rogers' arc, right, is his is kind of the exact opposite of John Walker. And ideally, these characters are on a similar trajectory of getting to this middle.
I mean, you think about it, Steve, for all his fucking shit that he was up against just out the gate from birth, he was pretty fucking secure with himself.
Yeah, you know, he had confidence. He just he literally couldn't fight
back
back.
it up.
Yeah.
Just no backing it up.
Just no way. I mean, again, I wondered if Steve Rogers had hit the weight room a little bit, if something might have changed. But no, so Steve is
if somebody got him a sandwich. Yeah, exactly. What things would have been like if somebody got that kid a sandwich.
But I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, so you got John Walker, who's kind of, he is not who everybody thinks he is, and he's trying to live up to that, knowing that he's not. And Steve is not, at least before he becomes Captain America for sure. I mean, he knows who he is. Nobody else can see it. Other people see it. And then he becomes their expectation to an extent because he wants to be what America wants him to be. But then that's why Winter Soldier is so brilliant, is when all of that comes ripping down. And not only does it come ripping down, like from a political standpoint, but like his best friend is an assassin, has been a secret for all this time. And turns out the agency that he worked for was corrupt and all this different stuff. I feel like a lot of people that wouldn't be Steve Rogers in that situation would be like, well, I guess I work for Hydra now. You know what I mean? They would have, died being impulsive or something with it. And in that movie, and then all the movies going forward, especially Civil War and Endgame, Steve begins, again, Tony's journey is selfish to selfless. Steve is selfless to selfish, right? Mm-hmm. And it's interesting because him and John Walker both need to meet in that middle, which is just be who you are. Know that Captain America is, and this is where I think Sam is that middle, is Captain America is more than who I just am and who everybody thinks I should be. It's who I need to be, and that's what Steve really kind of did throughout, but he was that guy. So that was never really his issue. His issue was with Steve Rogers. John Walker's issue is with John Walker and Captain America. And then Sam Wilson's is like, Captain America is the solution to a lot of its problems. So that scene where he's making all these excuses and he's like clearly starting to like go a little crazy and do all this stuff is so engaging, because you're just like, you got to wonder how many times Steve Rogers did that and how Steve Rogers would have handled that. So, like when Bucky died, you know what I mean? It's Lamar dies, John Walker kills someone. Bucky dies, Cap goes and beats the Red Skull. You know what I mean? It's interesting. It's cool stuff.
Yeah, he didn't let it get in his way, because if he was John Walker,
he was beat up. You see him.
Yeah.
He's sad. He's drinking.
Yeah.
He can't get drunk.
But I mean, like in that immediate moment,
like
he finishes that mission.
Right.
He if he was John Walker, Zola probably would have died.
Big time. Oh, Zola definitely would have died. Yeah. And it would have gotten ugly. And that's the perfect point, because in that moment, there's nothing separating him and Steve either. They both have the serum. They both lost their best friend to a super tragedy. They're both trying to do the right thing. They're both serving the country. And yeah, I mean, and so he goes and he freaks out and he doesn't want to give up the shield. And Sam and Bucky are basically like, you know what you got to do, give us that shield. And then he, of course, because clearly, and this is amazing, because this is what a lot of Americans do. We take reality. We don't like how it fits with our life, so we change it.
Spin, baby.
Spin it. Fake news, And he's basically like, oh, that's what this was about. You wanted the shield. And Sam's like,
no, dude.
You're fucking idiot.
Murdered somebody in a square in front of hundreds of people.
Everybody. With the wearing America's uniform. You know what I mean?
As a symbol.
I blew it.
I blew it for you.
Nah, it's all good.
Because the buttons are actually the exact same color.
That's what I thought. I was like, I guess the bottom two just like went out. But
Uniform.
That one.
It represents a lot.
So they get in a fight, and it's a dope fight. I love this fight. Because guess what? Bucky and Sam work together here. Kind of. I mean, for the most part, they do. Turns out Sam can really hold his own against a super soldier. Yeah.
Well, that was the thing. Because I was thinking about it. Is like, Bucky and Cap have never been like defeated.
Right.
And they're two super soldiers who've gone toe to toe and broke even both times.
Right.
The only thing that I guess would say puts Bucky in the W category was on the helicarrier because Steve yielded, basically.
Yeah, Steve was
But
like,
it was to send a message. So
Yeah.
in a way, he won.
oh, he did because he got
definitely won.
Bucky back.
Yeah.
You know? Mhm.
So, but that's the thing. So I guess it's super soldier versus super soldier plus one guy.
Plus one guy.
Plus one guy.
Turns out that one guy helps a lot.
Yeah.
Especially when he has wings.
Yeah.
Jet-propelled wings.
Yeah.
But, it's a fight. Bucky gets the shield from time to time. Sam kind of gets the shield from time to time. John Walker's out. He's throwing
He
it.
rips the wings off.
Yep. So, Sam kind of takes him on and kind of whoops his ass for a little bit. Walker gets the upper hand, and then I thought he was strangling him, but I was like...
That's what I thought, too, because
Yeah.
the way his arms were up like that.
And the way Sam was like, I'm like, wait, whoa, what's... Because his hand...
No, he just had a knee on his chest.
and he rips off the wings. Very symbolic, by the way. And is about...
I mean, think about it. It's
Yeah.
an American ripping off the wings of justice.
That is true. I was thinking more along the lines of Falcon losing the wings and becoming Captain America. But
Yeah.
I like yours way more than mine.
I mean, it's both.
yeah, exactly.
We're both right.
So
Give it here.
Hey, Carrie's Googling. Then he's gonna do the thing. I guess that's gonna be John Walker's move now. It's
Just
gonna be
copying Cap.
the head chop with the
Yeah.
shield, which is
Yeah.
really not what it's for. And then Bucky comes in, saves Sam's life. They take Walker down. They get the shield. Bucky takes the shield, gives it to Sam, bounces. I believe. Yeah. Does he leave, or do they leave together?
They left together.
Okay.
But he started walking away sooner.
Right. Exactly. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I remember what happened. Yeah.
But it was just like, dude, fucking take it.
Yep.
You know?
And so, and the way they got the shield, I want to talk about that. They
Yeah.
broke John
Broke
Walker's
his arm. I loved his scream.
They literally took it and bent it around a box or whatever, a crate,
It was a fucking corner of
a pillar or something.
kind of. It was just a concrete little structure, and they had his arm, and so Sam's pulling with the jetpack, and Bucky's holding him back, and then it just takes a couple punches, and bam, breaks. And then the sound.
Oh, I literally went, oh, Marvel! I love it. Let's do it. And then Bucky spits out blood. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go. Let's make this real.
Well, I just noticed that this was produced by Derek Kolstad, who wrote all the John Wicks.
I did hear that the John Wick was involved with this, and somebody is involved with Loki that did a lot of stuff. That's very notable. I can't remember. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
Let's head to IMDb.
Yeah, check out who created Loki or whatever, because it's somebody who's got a really interesting background. But yeah, so what happens after that? They go back. Basically, Bucky and Sam are like, all right, what's next? Bucky's gonna go find Zemo, and Sam's like, yep, well, they kind of, Captain America just killed a guy, so our jurisdiction has kind of been taken from us. The government's going to take over this, and then he finds out that Carly's gone super radio silent from his Air Force buddy. They have a conversation, and he's like, whoa, what happened to the wings? Sam doesn't seem to want to talk about it. Sam just takes the shield and leaves, and he says, well, shit, what you going to do? Things got really off the rails here, right? Then we go, and I believe the next scene is Sam taking the shield to Isaiah. Yeah. So he goes back to Baltimore, which we've seen in episode 2 now. And so we know Isaiah's getting involved, and we found out that Isaiah really was kind of the reason the super soldier serum was propagated. So that's fucked up. And Sam shows up, goes to Isaiah, and Isaiah, long story short, because if I try and explain this, it's not going to do that scene justice. That's a really important
And before
scene.
you get into it, all I could see is that it's created by this guy named Michael Waldron, and he's responsible for Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, and he's a producer for Rick and Morty. Writer and producer for
Rick and Morty. That was what I was like, Loki's got one show that's connected to it, and it's Rick and Morty. That's right. I think they went out of their way to go get the John Wick guy and go get Rick and Morty for these shows after they had already started.
The dude's going to be in Multiverse of Madness. He's the writer of it. So, I mean, it makes sense to
Which
get somebody
apparently-
who's dealing with that kind of sci-fi high-concept shit.
It's apparently Multiverse of Madness is in the last week of production.
I saw that today. K5's
Very
confirmed.
exciting. Very exciting.
It's all very exciting.
Which means that, and I know, I mean, this was probably already obvious knowledge, but that means that Spider-Man is pretty much done, right? If it's coming out in December, and if Doctor Strange is done. So they know everything that's going to happen.
And also, where the fuck is any fucking teaser for Eternals?
Eternals, Shang-Chi, all these different
stuff
ones.
that's supposed to come out this year.
Yeah,
Are they waiting for the fucking D24 or T23, whatever the fuck it's called?
Maybe, because I guess they have to release a Shang-Chi sooner, though, because that comes out in August. You wouldn't release the first trailer for a movie a month before it comes out, would you?
You should have done it 3 months ago.
Yeah, right? That's crazy. They're doing Black Widow in July, I think Shang-Chi in August, and then they're doing Eternals like in November, and then they're doing Spider-Man in December. That's
wild.
More movies than they've ever released in a year, and they're doing it in half a year. That's crazy.
Granted, 2 of them were supposed to come out last year.
True. Wow, and they've released, 4-5 TV shows with that. So, like, what does it matter anymore? Anyway.
You know what, Jack? What are you getting all upset about?
I'm not getting upset.
You're getting upset. Are you telling me you don't like Marvel?
I'm shocked. I feel shocked.
I'm shocked.
So Bucky, Sam and Isaiah have this conversation, and basically what Isaiah says is like, they took us, they experimented on us.
Well, they did these sneaky experiments where they shot him.
Tetanus.
They shot him with an alleged tetanus shot, and then people started dropping like flies in Korea.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was one of the ones who made it, and then they started taking like chunks out of him and doing experiments and trying to figure out why it worked for him.
And the reason that they did that, and this is the part of the story that just really hit home for me, and I was like, fuck, I mean, like, I get where they're going with this, is like, they were talking about how he basically, like, a bunch of guys got captured, became POWs, and they were his guys, and he wanted to go get them, and they wouldn't let him, so he busted out of he saved all of them, and because he did that, they put him in prison to experiment on him.
And Steve did the exact same thing and became Captain America.
Yep. And that's where I was like, oh, I get it.
Fuck Whitey.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, that's harsh because
Give me a break.
I can't think, I can't imagine that in real society, which when this is happening, we're talking about the 1950s, that exact thing wouldn't have happened. That exact, like we make jokes about Marvel. Oh, what if the 1940s?
Oh, and it was only like 10 years later.
Yeah.
That's the wildest part.
Right. And we make jokes like, oh, what if, like the 1940s characters were really racist and stuff like that. Turns out Steve and Bucky are just great people. They're very open people.
They're wildly liberal.
They were
for who they are.
incredible outliers of the times.
Yeah.
Turns out this is the real world. Yeah. And so
this isn't some fake Marvel world.
Right.
Where it's like sunshines and daisies, no racism.
None of that.
Racism, none of that.
No. Serious racism. Very real stuff. Sam leaves shaken up and like really like, oh fuck, you know what I mean? Like what are we gonna do about this? You know what I mean? And
Bucky visits
Zemo. Beautiful scene because I was like, oh, this is gonna be the scene where Zemo like becomes the main bad, does something crazy. Nope. It was just him at the memorial in Sokovia. Was that his family's memorial or was that just Sokovia?
No, just Sokovian.
Okay. I was thinking, I was like, I don't think that looks like him, but what if that's like his family? What an arrogant person.
Oh no, I was just like looking at it at the same thing and I'm like, you know what? I think it's just that all Sokovians have that fucking face.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
blockhead.
Eastern European.
Yeah, Eastern blocking ass.
And Bucky comes walking up and Zemo is like, oh, I'm not going to kill you, but, Carly's, it's bad news.
There's only one way to take care of her.
Only one way. She's a supremacist. She's
been radicalized way too far.
It's not good. It's bad. And then Bucky's like, well, we're going to handle this our way. And he pulls the gun on him, right? And Zemo, you could see it. Like, Zemo's like, oh, fuck, this is the moment. Like, because I'm sitting there thinking, like, sometimes it's hard for me to remember that Bucky and the Winter Soldier are the same character. You know what I mean? Like, Bucky's so, like, Bucky, and the Winter Soldier is a fucking killer, dude. Like, him not having any lines in the Winter Soldier is other than,
like the first half.
Yeah, the first half, and even then, he says some of the stuff in the flashback and a couple things on the helicarrier, like, different stuff. But it's so powerful, and he really is a completely different person. And this is a huge testament to Sebastian Stan, by the way. So in that moment, I really remembered, I was like, oh, fuck, this is the Winter Soldier. And Zemo knows that better than anybody. he knows, like, oh, I might have said one thing that triggers this guy. He will pull the trigger. And he pulls the trigger. No, nothing.
Well, he did say that thing. He's like, you were literally deconstructed and made to kill.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. That's who he is.
So he's just like, I accept my fate. You're going to kill me.
Yep.
Like,
And then Bucky drops the bullets. Iconic shot from the trailer.
yeah. And I was trying to figure out, I'm like, is that Bucky or is that supposed to be like an allusion to Wakanda or something? I mean, eventually it does lead to that, but
Right.
still.
I mean, all those questions were answered immediately. Yeah, because then the Dora Milaje show up.
Yep, with Io being like,
Yep.
yep, we got him.
We got him.
Take him to the fucking raft.
For the rest of
And
his
when she
life.
said that, I'm like, they're going to have a season 2 or a movie.
Yep.
Zemo's going to be the main heavy.
Oh, jeez.
Because he's the only Marvel villain they've allowed to live for 2 things besides Loki.
Yeah. And we'll see, like, again, we still have one more episode. I don't know if he's going to be busting out of any Wakandan things. I like it a lot. Zemo really doesn't seem to be like a bad guy on this show. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But he's not a
makes
good
me
guy.
wonder why he wasn't in the raft initially in the first fucking place. Why he was in Germany.
That's an excellent question. One that you'd have to ask Martin Freeman about. Everett K. Ross.
Yeah, where's he been?
Where's he been, huh? He's been in Wakanda. He just stayed.
Right.
You watch Infinity War and you just see in the background Martin Freeman like 4 rows back.
He's next to Howard the Duck.
He gets smashed by that big guy right before Black Panther punches him.
Yeah.
It's just Martin Freeman. Ah! Wait, he's in this?
What? Why?
Why would he do a movie where he's in one shot and he dies? But he was
so good.
He was Bilbo Baggins.
You're right.
So they take him to the raft, and Io, she says, stay out of Wakanda for a little while. You're not very happy with you, but we're cool, And Bucky's like, cool. And so they bounce. We go to John Walker's trial. This guy's in big doo-doo.
Well, but before she left, he said, hey, can I get one
favor? That's right.
One favor.
And
then, John
fickle
Walker.
favor.
John Walker, he appears in front of the GRC, and they give their verdict that he is stripped of title. He's less than honorably discharged, not dishonorably, but he doesn't have any rank or benefits. That was the biggest fuck you that I saw. Because when he goes off, I really sympathized with him a lot.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I've been following
This is
your
your
mandates.
system.
I've been doing this. You guys made me,
Right.
and you're not taking responsibility for that.
And
You turned me into this guy.
I thought that was brilliant too for like a lot of these, cancel companies. You know what I mean? When companies jump with cancel culture, it's like the people that are getting canceled were just doing what you used your platform for, and now all of a sudden you've got this. Like everything they said to him was like, we don't want to look bad because you killed a foreigner.
It was the most corporate bullshit.
We don't actually care about what you did, but the world is very upset. And if the world's upset with us, that tends to not go very well. So
we're
you're
gonna put it all on
Yeah,
you.
exactly.
We're not taking any responsibility for how we trained you, how we told you to operate. We're not taking any responsibility for it because it wasn't us. That wasn't our face. That's why we hire people like you, so we can blame you for our shit.
Again,
It's literally the Black Sabbath song War Pigs.
Yep. I love this John Walker. I just love what the story he's going on is just so, like, you could have ended it with Steve going with Peggy. Again, you could have ended Captain America with that, right? You could have. And you could have moved forward and just had that. The fact that you didn't, one, makes Steve Rogers a way more compelling character, like post everything he's done.
Oh, yeah. And I think it's crazy that that was their whole thing, introducing him to the MCU with First Avenger and The Avengers, was they thought of him as a cartoon.
Yeah.
Nobody until McFeely and Marcus got a hold of, the control with the Russos, because they wrote the screenplay for First Avenger.
Yeah.
But I think they were hired to just write it as campy.
Yeah.
And the Russos got in there and they're like, guys, we're huge Cap fans and there's so much that we can play with. And they're like, I know, right?
Yeah.
I know, right? Let's do it.
Yeah.
And then they did it.
They're like, we're storytellers, not just filmmakers. You know what I mean? I feel like there's a big difference with people that are like, I'm a filmmaker, so I'm concerned with all of it, the entire, versus people that are like,
That's Zack Snyder.
yeah. And like, again, like nothing wrong with that to an extent if you have 4 hours and you can make it look really great. But like, for us as fans, or at least you and me, like we want a story told through film. That's great. That's why television resonates, is because it's the writer's medium. It is the story medium. And that's where this show is just excelling beyond belief. Is just, again, these just deep storyline. Again, we're getting a trilogy with these characters. We're getting 6 hours with these people, and it's really paying off. So John Walker freaks out. He gets upset. He goes into the hallway. Now, Sammy, let's just take a minute before we get to this part. Let's just get again. We're about to deal with some greatness here.
Okay,
And
okay. Let me.
Here's all I'm saying. I'm not going to overly dive into what I think this. I have a theory. I'm going to talk about it, and then I'm going to just let this be what it's going to be. He's sitting there. He's flustered. He's mad. Okay,
He's with his wife, and she's just as flustered as him.
and
Because she just saw her husband bent over and fucked in
big
front of
time.
America.
Yeah, big time. And, this power broker's had to be getting involved, right? And we don't know if this is the power broker yet. We don't know. We're just guessing. We're assuming. Now, I would assume putting a character that has like the reputation of the power broker throughout the show, who, has been kind of built up, and then you bring in this person to, just randomly in episode 5 to a character, John Walker, who in the comics has a direct relationship with the character, the power broker. And John Walker is at his lowest moment right now, and the power broker needs something done. It seems like they would team up. Well, I see a pair of heels clippity-cloppeting down the hallway, and I go, oh shit, Sharon Carter's the
I
power
thought it was
broker.
Sharon Carter.
I was
yeah.
like, wow. I mean, like, this is kind of random, but like, let's see what they do with this. Oh no.
oh my.
Oh no.
Were we surprised?
Oh, no. The camera pans up. I see a face that, I'm usually very happy when I see this face, but I couldn't believe that this face would be at a Marvel project.
Jaw dropping.
Oh, I was like, wait, no, it's not her. No way. And then I heard her voice. and
100%.
I pissed my pants. I was so happy.
Yeah.
So excited.
I went, oh, shut the fuck up.
We got Julia Louis-Dreyfus in the MCU.
We got we got some JLD action.
JLD's in this thing. Oh my God. Julia, we worship you as a god. We love you. You're amazing. And here's what I'll tell you. She shows up. We're assuming she's the power. I'm assuming she's the power broker. I should say that. We don't know. She is very
I'm doing
charismatic.
A little keyboard research here. Keep talking.
She's very charismatic. She's got a streak of purple in her hair. She's Julia Louis. She can talk, okay? She knows how to talk and manipulate. Now, I'm getting a lot less Elaine and a lot more Selena Meyer, and I am loving it.
I am down.
I'm watching this, and I'm like, they totally decided on this because of Veep. Like, they had to have. Like, clearly this is a person who has extreme power in this universe, who we haven't met, who's in the shadows and Power Broker. But also, Julia Louis is again, I don't know what they're going to do with her. I don't know. Apparently, I looked it up. It looks like they got big plans, quote unquote, which I'm so about. It's crazy.
Jack.
Oh boy, tell me what's happening.
I mean, this is just, I'm not going to really go more further than I've gotten, but first appeared as an agent in Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. comic series. Mm-hmm. Could be new S.H.I.E.L.D. type organization trying to recruit, because that's kind of where U.S. Agent came from, was like a S.H.I.E.L.D. type organization where it's like, we can still use you.
Interesting.
Because his whole arc ran through where it's like he was like super patriot. I think that's what they called him. Mm-hmm. And then he got the mantle of Captain America, fucking blew it, and Steve was called just the Captain. Mm-hmm. And then he got his mantle back as Captain America, and then John became U.S. Agent.
Gotcha.
And so he's just sort of like an anti-hero version of Captain America at that point.
I wonder.
So could be some sort of a sword lady.
Yeah. Or I don't know. I'm just thinking like of those possibilities, right? We got Black Widow coming out. Thunderbolt Ross is in
Jesus, Winston. God. Hey!
Uh-oh. You're in trouble.
Fuck.
You're in big trouble. What was it? So
Stop.
we have not Everett K. Ross. That's Martin Freeman. We have William Hurt. Thunderbolt Ross. He has a team called the Thunderbolts, right?
Yeah.
What if maybe like Julia Louis, like again, something's going to happen in Black Widow with him where he won't die because he's in Infinity War, but like, who knows what his life is like post-blip. He definitely goes to Tony's funeral. But like now Bruce Banner's done all this stuff with the Hulk serum. He could get the Red Hulk stuff. We got Taskmaster maybe already working for him. Again, I have not seen Black Widow. I don't know that these things could happen. But I like these supervillain teams.
And Black Widow's in between Civil War and Infinity War, right? Okay.
So like a lot of things could happen. You could have her being like, John Walker, we need a Captain America for this team. We've already kind of got a Hulk. We've already kind of got a Hawkeye. Again, speculation. 100% here. That could be cool. I don't know.
Objection, Your Honor. Speculation.
I want to know what's up with the purple in her hair. That's
Yeah.
one big question. And I want her to be in every shot of all of episode 6. I want this to go from the Falcon and the Winter Soldier to the Falcon and the Winter Soldier and the War Machine
Jack,
to
could
the,
you imagine
the
if
Falcon
they
and the Winter
have-
Soldier and the Julia Louis.
If they have Julia Louis-Dreyfus be a fucking ass kicker.
I would love it. Oh my
Like,
God.
get a freaking MILF ass kicker in there. That's one demographic that has not been represented. It's the MILFs.
Oh my God. I would probably watch that episode every day for the rest of my life. I love Julia Louis-Dreyfus with such a loving passion. She is, in my opinion, on the comedy Mount Rushmore. She is unbelievable. And I cannot wait to see.
She was one of the boys before one of the boys was a thing.
She was indeed. She was indeed. And I can't wait to see what she does.
I know, me either.
Whether she's the power broker or she's recruiting John to some team or whatever she's doing, you know?
Because later we get that scene with Sharon Carter talking to some Algerian
true.
something. She said an Algerian prison.
Algerian prison. yes.
Somebody's talking, yelling at her and screaming at
Somebody's
her.
upset.
And I'm like, this is shady. This is
Yeah.
shady AF.
I don't know about this. I don't know. So we will see. We will see. Now, so we got Julia Louis. She comes in. She tells him basically, here's my card. Her card has nothing on it. And she's basically like, we can work together. You know, just think about it, you know? And then she compliments the wife, you know, says some nice things and then bounces.
Yeah,
right?
which that made me laugh so hard. Where it's like the wife goes, "Who the hell are you?" And she goes, "Okay," and just keeps talking to John.
She's so
completely
great.
ignores her.
I just couldn't. I was just so happy to see Julia's
It was
face.
so shocking. Such a delightful surprise on this sunny Saturday with snow on
Because,
the
like,
ground.
you know, with what's his face,
Friday.
with Evan Peters as Quicksilver, you were like, oh, and you just couldn't help but like get too excited about that. There's too many doors. There's no doors, right? It's just Julia Louis-Dreyfus is in Marvel
It's about
stuff now.
on the level of Agatha, where it's like, I guess this character is huge.
Yeah.
But we didn't know anything about her.
And this
and it
one is a
didn't have-
little better because we knew Catherine Hahn was going to be in it. I couldn't
No,
have
yeah, this came out of
possibly have
left
imagined.
field, baby. Left field.
Hey, Falcon Winter Soldier starting. You're just finishing up Veep, Jack. By the way, Julia Louis-Dreyfus is in that show. I'd be like, fuck you. Stop it, okay? I get it. I like
No,
Veep.
you just finished Seinfeld. You went right into
Yeah.
Veep and Curb Your Enthusiasm, so you've seen both of her.
Ton of her.
And
Yeah.
then you just get slapped right upside the head with a JLD and the T. Wait, no. TFATWS.
2021 is the year of JLD. Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
TFATWS. Bring her in, JLD.
She's a Chinese zodiac now. She represents an entire year.
The Chinese New Year, Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
I was born in the year of the Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Oh, man, I was born in the year of the Jason Alexander.
So what happens after that?
No, Jack, it made me laugh so hard because I'm like, imagine if they get Jerry Seinfeld. Because they
Imagine they
had
get
Gary
Jerry.
Shandling. You never expected Gary
Nope.
Shandling to be in more than the role he was in Iron Man 2, let alone come back from Falcon, or not Falcon, just the Winter Soldier. And, like, just look at Jerry, he's like, what's the deal with all these superheroes? There's Avengers running around left and right, Avengers fighting each other.
There's
What's the deal?
Aliens falling from the sky? Can we just go back to the way it was? You
Are
know?
the Avengers avenging themselves or are they avenging us? Because it seems like a lot of us die
Here's
and they
what's-
don't do anything.
Here's what's gonna happen. Okay, Jerry Seinfeld is gonna have a huge part in Loki.
Jerry Seinfeld is the power broker, Jack. What's the deal with all these super soldier serums? I can't get a hand on one.
I can't get it. No matter who I
They
pay.
say it's everywhere, but yet it's nowhere.
They say money will buy you anything. I disagree. It could get stolen. It could get stolen often.
Bow,
See,
bow.
yeah, right. Here's what I think. I think it's going to be, it's going to be fucking Shang-Chi that Jerry Seinfeld has a big role, and he's going to be playing Jerry Seinfeld.
What's the deal?
Like Shang-Chi is a guy in New York, and he loves comedy.
Yeah, Jerry
and he goes to the
Seinfeld.
cellar all the time.
Jerry Seinfeld has only really acted in the B movie.
Yep, exactly.
And then he comes back for
comes back.
Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings.
The 10 rings. And he's like the fun friend that's like along for the whole ride.
Whoa!
He has a moment like Rhodey and Iron Man 1. Next time, baby.
What's the deal with him being called the Mandarin? He's not Chinese and he's not an orange.
We need this to happen, Marvel.
Yeah.
You have time. For
Every single episode we do, we bring a new concept to the table that could fucking do everything, change the game in the MCU.
You guys have 3 months for reshoots. Go get Jerry. Okay, he would do it. Anyway, and then Larry David shows up in Thor: Love and Thunder.
Thor, really? Really, Thor?
He's
really?
fucking the bad guy, Gruel or whatever, and Christian Bale's like his assistant, his sidekick, and he's fucking he's the bad guy.
He's just like, really, Thor? Really?
Really?
I didn't like how you said that.
Seems pretty good.
Suspect. What's the deal? He's Thor one day, and then she's Thor the other day. Who's the real Thor? We don't know who the real Thor is, so we're like, why do they keep asking us who's the real Thor? I just want Thor dead.
Phase 4 is all about getting as much Seinfeld into the MCU as
Phase
they
4 is
possibly
all about
can.
injecting as many sitcom people into it. We're going to have Tim Allen running around here, John Goodman.
David Schwimmer and Jennifer Aniston are getting in here. Yep.
Absolutely.
Matthew Perry will have a cameo. It's going to be great.
100%.
Steve Carell.
Roseanne.
Yep.
They're gonna be like what they were for Robert Downey Jr.'s career. They're gonna be for Roseanne Barr's career. They're gonna bring her out of obscurity.
Every Marvel, like the Marvel page flip is just going to turn into all the Marvel characters in the Friends theme song. I'll be there. It's like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
How did they allow it to get to
instead
this?
It's like you just see like the comic books flashy. It's like bam, 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 bam.
Just like a Tony Stark. Captain America throws the shield, hits someone in the hits Hawkeye in the head. Oh my god!
He gets up. Just turn it into a sitcom. Let's go.
We should do that. We should
They were dabbling. They were dabbling with WandaVision. They're like, how can this be received as a 4-camera concept?
Yeah, exactly.
Just turn the MCU into 4 cameras.
I need this now. But anyway, what happens? John Walker, he said the wife says you need to go visit.
That was the line real quick that Julia said is like, and also that shield isn't actually American government property. It's a little bit of a legal gray area. Yeah. And so I guess that was the go-ahead to break copyright law because there wasn't any.
Nope, 100%. 100%. Now, granted, I mean, actually, we'll get to it. We'll get to it because it's later. So she's wife says, hey, you gotta go talk to Lamar's family. Okay. And he's like, fine. Cut back to, I believe, Sam going to home, seeing his sister.
He's fixing the nets
Sarah.
with the kids. And he's just like, it's a shame that this thing's broken. We should take it out one last time.
Yep.
Or no, it's the same we're selling it. It's a shame we're selling it. Mm-hmm. Because we should go out on one last time. And they're like, well, we can't do that. Mama said it's not working. And he's like, really?
Yeah. Let's fix this.
Fuck you lying to me for, sis?
Yeah. Mom and dad had a bunch of friends. Let's call in some favors.
Get some favors.
Can you imagine if like the parents helped like an old couple 30 years ago and Sam Wilson's just like, hey, help me fix the fucking boat. Do you remember what you said to my dad? Do you remember?
Yeah, I'm collecting.
I'm collecting
a debt.
I have
Instead
a walker.
of being super charismatic and friendly and then being like, oh my God, Sam, of course we would help you. He's just like, hey, fuck face.
Oh, Sam, I'd love to, but unfortunately, age happens. I'm in a wheelchair now. I can't really
fuck
help.
face. That wasn't a question.
What?
You owe us.
I owe you. I mean, I can't even get on a boat to begin with.
You're coming.
Okay.
every sort of resource that we can juice you for, you're juiced.
He's like, guess
you're
what?
Juiced, buddy.
I have Captain America's shield, and I will use it on you, okay?
I was supposed to be the next one.
Okay, it's had blood on it before, all right? I could get it on there again.
It's been tainted. Let's just open the floodgates.
Let's really show what America's all about.
I'll fill some elevators with your blood. Like The Shining.
Like The Shining. So then I get that now.
Finally.
But so they go, and it's a big community.
I get that reference.
And they're fixing the boat, and they're doing the thing, and clearly Sam has an issue with what Isaiah said to him. You know, he's like, shit, I can't. We can't do anything with the shield. Like, what does it mean? This is ridiculous. You know, he's clearly having troubles with it, but he's also being Sam Wilson now. You know, he's helping fix the boat. He's doing what he wants to. He's a good family man. His community's come together. And then they got this big engine that they got to move.
And they're like, oh, thanks, man. How are we going to get it out of the car?
How are we going to do it? And then it just starts moving. And I was like, wow, a super soldier with the vibranium arm could do something like that. Well, sure enough, it was Bucky with the slick haircut, even though he's had it the whole show.
Did you really hesitate? Like, have any question as to who it was? Okay, this would be like, Jack.
What if it was Steve again? He was
He's
young.
an old Steve. There you go, Sam.
He's like, I thought you died.
He's like, oh, really? Nice to see you, Steve. Like, are you going to help out? No, I don't think I will. That's all I'm good for. They just drops dead.
Just got Chris Evans in the cast, everything. Like, he was totally there. He came, put on all the makeup, did all this stuff, and then just died.
Yeah.
Just in case that wasn't clear at the end of Endgame. Anyway, so Bucky shows up. Bucky helps move it. And then he says, hey, I just came dropping you off something here to get your signature. I'm going to leave. Puts this very fancy Wakandan suitcase type thing, trunk thing on the tailgate.
Yeah, it looked like it had this pattern on it.
Yes, it did actually. It looked just like that. And I mean, okay. Spoiler alert, we never find out what's in the box. Clearly we will the next episode.
It's obvious what it's going to be.
It's
vibranium wings. Vibranium wings.
Vibranium wings.
Why even fucking tease us?
Why be silly? You know?
Why even play with us? Blow or load, let's go.
We just want to see it. You know what I mean? We just want to see what the vibranium wings look like.
Quit edging me. I'm ready to go.
Let's go. And like also, you think of what he can do with those wings. Think of what he could do with vibranium wings. You know, Sam's just going to be in just all vibranium everything.
And I think it's kind of funny because it's not even slightly a tall order for Bucky to be like, hey, do you think Shuri could whip up some wings?
Yeah, right? I know. It's like, it's not even a favor, really. No. It's like, can you help him? That one of the Avengers lost his thing that makes him Avenger. Can you fix that? Oh, yeah. You're only people... Because I was thinking, well, without Tony, nobody can really remake the wings. And I was like, Wakanda. Of course Wakanda could do that.
Because they were Stark wings, weren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, real quick about the shield itself. Mm-hmm. So, I think that it had the same pattern on it that it had in Endgame, not 100%, with like the little engravings inside the stars, the points. But it dawned on me that shield has changed movie to movie, which means that they've been improving it. So basically what they had to do was take the shield, melt it down, and put it in a new mold based on whatever fucking... aerodynamic slots that they wanted to put into it. So it makes sense that the shield didn't start breaking physics in the Winter Soldier. They figured out how to bend physics in the Winter Soldier, because that shield changed twice in that movie. It changed from the original one that he had out of the ice from World War II to being the blue and silver stealth one. And then they changed it to the one that he has for the rest of the movie. And then it changes each individual one up until the one we got now. And I think it is just little minor tweaks to make the shield fly and throw better.
Yeah. I mean, like in Age of Ultron, they take off the leather straps and do magnetic, I think it's just bits and pieces. And I mean, being friends with Tony Stark probably helps make that like a couple hour task rather than...
That didn't dawn on me that they never used that magnetic thing again.
Yeah, not once. No,
never again.
Joss Whedon, the only reason I know about it, like, I mean, I'd seen it in the movie, but I don't think I would have ever really noticed had I not watched a thing with Joss Whedon be like, we upgraded everyone. We got Cap a magnetic shield. And I was like, oh, okay, so they're up, and then they never used it again. Which also, that shield, wow, people could just get that thing through the straps. I mean,
oh yeah, they are just wildly accurate about catching it right through the straps,
which is pretty dope. I mean,
even with Io putting the spear through the straps.
Yeah, well, the one girl, bing. Oh, sorry, Winston, I stepped right on his tail, like stomping down. But she like catches it. Anyway,
doing the little like the skateboard stomp.
Yeah, yep, exactly. So yeah, that all goes down. Bucky's there. Bucky's flirting with Sarah. Sam doesn't like that.
I am all for it.
I'm into it. I love
Let's
it.
Let's go.
I'm jealous of Bucky.
I'm a huge fan of Bera or Sucky, whichever way you want to call their couple name. I like Bera personally, and also. Sucky. I mean, I think she's banging. Let's go, Bucky.
She's gorgeous.
I like it. He's got good taste in women. He was dating the Asian girl right at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Couple cute girls in First Avengers.
Like we were saying, they are just blessed human beings from the 1940s that they have no qualms or prejudices about any race. They're like, Sam's sister's hot.
They are who they
I'm
are what
Bucky.
humanity was supposed to become.
Yeah,
Was.
I'm Bucky. I'm
Sarah?
Sarah.
Nice. Sam does not
I
like
just
it.
love that shot of him looking back. He's like, I know what's going down.
And then we proceed with a pretty lengthy montage of just Sam and Bucky working together on the boat, and I loved it. I was smiling
that was
whole,
the therapy. That
time.
was the therapy session that the annoying therapist just did not even think of.
Yep.
Put them to doing stuff with their hands.
Yep.
Put two men together, putting something together, they bond.
Yeah.
Me and my dad building our various wooden stuff.
You and me writing a script.
Yeah.
You know?
Putting stuff together, you bond.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, because you are putting your focus on something else, and you both are, it is kind of a weird little intimate thing that you can let out personal stuff.
Right.
You know?
Well, and especially with where those two people are at in that moment. Huge. Absolutely huge, you know, and just like to, you know, basically go from, you know, them being, you know, frenemies to them being pretty cool.
And it's one of the first times that they have a similar goal.
Yes. Yes.
Because you think about it, you know, Bucky didn't have any real reason to show up and help.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Because he shows up to give him the wings, and then he sticks around to help, and like he's about to leave. He's like, I got a flight tomorrow. Got to go stay in my hotel, all that. And
And the
Sam's,
thing springs a leak, and
Yeah.
then he's just like, all right, I guess I'll stick around.
yeah, Sam's like, you really
Like,
got to make me ask.
You just needed the thinnest veil
Yeah.
to just be like, can I hang out with you guys? I'll help you build your boat.
Come on. Which you forget,
I'm not going to say it, but I like you.
like Bucky is from the 1940s. He's really good with his hands.
Oh, yeah.
He had to have been. Yeah. Like when he's working. Oh my God. One of the best lines in the whole thing. I laughed so hard at this was when he goes and he's like, no, you got to twist it up. And he goes and he uses the wrench.
Yeah.
And then Sam's like, why didn't you just use the metal arm? He's like, honestly, I just forget about it.
I
So
honestly
I'm a
almost
righty.
never think of it in the moment because I'm right-handed.
That made me laugh.
That made me
I was
laugh
like,
really hard because
'cause-
I'm like, that would be me too.
Yep. And, like,
100%.
That's the kind of thing that like fans would have freaked out about. They would be like, oh, why does Bucky just use the metal arm? You know? Ugh. And it's like, that's such a human moment that's what all these characters are. It doesn't matter that he doesn't think to use the metal arm because he's an engaging character, because he's a human being. You know what I mean? Like, that was brilliant.
He doesn't think of it as a metal arm until it's just like, oh yeah, I have a metal arm.
Yeah, and most of the time I've ever needed to use this, I was using it to murder people because I was brainwashed to
I
do it.
almost ripped Tony's heart out.
Yeah, like, okay, I don't like this thing. You know, like this does not have good memories for me. The vibranium one maybe more so, but still.
He's like, hey, don't be flirting with my sister.
I
And
think
he's
by
like,
the-
okay, I won't, but I'm 100% going to keep flirting with your sister.
You know how like in
Because the next morning when they start working on the ship and they're taking apart the water pump, and she comes in and she's like, I told you it wasn't the water pump, but here you are taking it apart. He's like, yeah, Sam, what's that about?
Yeah,
And I'm
I
just
loved
like,
it.
that's the move.
That's the
Bucky's
move.
working the moves.
Bucky's got it. Bucky knows what he needs to do here. Soon he will be Sam's brother-in-law.
Yes, and I'm down.
Oh, I'm into it. If that doesn't happen, I'll be a little sad. I'm gonna be honest.
honestly.
But I don't know. Like, okay, so going back to the metal arm, real quick, bear with me here, because you know, sometimes in movies, it's like you think it's gonna be one bad guy the whole time, and then like at the end, it's a big twist, and it's a certain other. Again, I think we've pitched it on this show before, but I think it's worth bringing up again. What if at the end, you know, they bring down Carly, they get rid of the power broker, John Walker's, you know, dead or arrested, and then all of a sudden they're in this like trap, and they're like, who else could this be? Is it gonna be Julie Louis? Who's it gonna be? And then this beam comes down, and it's Rocket Raccoon, and he takes the arm and is like, yes! He's like, I can't believe this all worked! And then he just beams right up and he's gone, and the show's over.
He just it just shows like a bumper at the end, and it's him talking to Io, and she's just like, so you hit here and here and here and here, and then you do this, and it'll fall off, and he's like writing copious notes. It's like, got it.
He had Io like give Carly all the information about the guy with the serum.
No, in that scene where she takes his arm off, just all of a sudden a raccoon just comes
Yeah.
and snatches it on the ground. He's like, what the fuck?
I told you I'd get that arm!
I told you I'd get that arm!
You weren't even supposed to be on Earth! What are you doing?
What are you doing? I lied! I've been stalking you this whole time. I got real method as a raccoon.
I spent 5 years planning this just in case you came back.
I was in trash cans. I was in trash cans everywhere you went.
Yeah, you know that one that you and Yuri got in the fight with the guy about in the first episode? Rocket was in that trash
Yes.
can. But yeah, they bond. They have a good time. They fix the boat. It's all good stuff. They end up deciding not to sell it. Don't paint over the parents' names. It's all good. Bucky ends. And of course, one of my favorite things. Bucky and Sam throwing the shield.
Yeah,
at the
that's what I
pads
say.
on the
That's what
trees.
we gotta say first before the ship was sold.
That is correct.
Because that scene
that was a beautiful scene. Beautiful scene.
It almost made me cry because they could
Made me
actually
tear
level
up.
with each other. Because they bonded on the ship, and now they're doing this thing where it's like the shield is what bonded them in the first place,
Right.
reluctantly,
Right.
honestly. So for that, like,
Well, and who Steve was to each of them, too.
Yes,
You know, that was another
exactly.
thing they bring up. So, yeah, it starts with basically Bucky being like, shit, I don't think you, me, or Steve could have realized what it meant to give a black man that shield. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
and he fully apologized.
that's
and
our bad.
everything.
No, that's my bad. That's Steve's bad. I mean, like, shit. I didn't even think about it, which, like, most of America, I don't think thought about it. Like, I bet you there's, like, a segment of the population that's watching that's just like, we don't need any of this in our superhero stuff. And it's like, you're not paying attention. You know what I mean?
Or they're just, like, not even voluntary, just, like, ignorant,
Yeah.
you know? Because, I mean, I remember first learning about the N-word. My immediate reaction was like, why would anybody have any mean things to say about black people?
Right. Yeah.
Because I didn't know.
Yeah.
And then you learn, and it's like, it's just Bucky had to be schooled that way.
Yeah, exactly. And it's important. And we're all kind of getting, like, people are like, I don't want it. I'm like, yeah, because you're watching something that makes you uncomfortable. Like, I'm uncomfortable with it, but, like, I accept it. I learn from it. And you learn to make the uncomfortable comfortable because you understand it and you move forward from it, which is what these two characters are doing in this scene. You know, it's really everything that, like, you know, the viewer is going through. Bucky and Sam are going through it in that scene as well, because Bucky also has, or Sam has to be, like, Bucky tells him, he's like, you know, basic, that, you know, the shield means so much, and, like, you know, everything that Steve meant to me and believed in and all this different stuff. And Sam's basically like, it doesn't matter what Steve thought. You know what I mean? Like, I love Steve. Steve was my dude. Like, he's my best friend. But, like, this isn't about Steve. You know what I mean? Like, Steve was an incarnation. You know, like, this isn't what Sam's saying, but, like, he's basically being like, I got to make my own decisions, and you got to live for yourself. Dude.
Well, yeah, because I honestly almost cried when Bucky was like, that shield is the closest thing that I have family left.
That's the line. Yep.
Yeah. And I was just like, oh, man, that is deep. Because for us, yeah, it was, like, good for Steve that he stayed with Peggy and all that stuff. But 100%, I felt the worst for Bucky.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And, like, Bucky knew what Steve was going to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
Bucky was
like,
aware and accepted
he
it.
had to swallow that
Yeah.
because it's basically Steve saying, I'm going to abandon you because I need to do this for me.
I need to live my life.
know?
Yeah.
And Bucky understood, but then it's just like, well, where do I fit in any equation?
And that,
You
and the
know?
equation is that you got to do what Steve did. You know what I mean? And then basically Sam pushes Bucky to go face Yuri, even though he doesn't know about Yuri, you know, but, like, you know, it's an incredibly emotional scene because you learn so much about Sam, you learn so much about Bucky, and because the other scene it reminded me of obviously was the therapy, sitting in the chair scene, which I loved as well, where you got to, like, learn these two dudes' convictions. Why are they in this story, right? This one, you get to learn why are they in this story? You know, like, who are they going to become through this? And, like, yeah, I thought from the beginning Sam was going to become Cap and Bucky was going to face his demons and blah, blah, blah. Great. How do they get there? And the way that they've gotten there has been so authentic and organic and beautiful and has required them both to be together so much. Yeah.
That's why I think this is my favorite fucking episode of this whole season. I mean, because aside from the fight at the beginning, which was the coolest fight of the season so far, you got you got, like, no action this whole rest of the episode, and it was really refreshing and engaging. It was a lot, like, you know, you think that, oh, you got to have action to be engaging. Hell fucking no, you don't.
No. And, you know, going back real quick, because I think this scene happened beforehand. We got John Walker talking to Lamar's parents. Should be mentioned, he's perpetuating the lie. He's like, oh, yeah, don't you even worry. I killed the guy.
The guy I
got
killed
him.
was definitely the guy, and you could see it on his face how much he was just, like, hating this.
Yeah, he's lying. And
Because they were like, well, at least that he got justice. He's like, he didn't.
yeah, and they're
He
like,
didn't, and I'm fucking lying to
and
his
they're
parents.
and
I
as
need
they're
to get
saying
that
that,
justice.
they're saying, like, you know, he loved you. He was so honored to work with you, and that you were Captain America, and that it was you, you know, which is another very interesting aspect of this character of John Walker, which is the expectations we put on ourselves and we put on other people. What does that do to them? You know what I
he's
mean?
had all the stuff put on him. I mean, It's literally what he was saying. It's like all of this was because of you guys.
Yeah.
You guys put this all on me.
So
and I'm getting shit-horned for it.
I'm doing the best I can, and I'm the
I don't
one
even
that
know if
gets fucked.
shit-horn is a thing, but it might
It
as well
is now
be.
for John Walker.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's another incredibly just like powerful scene, you know what I mean? And just like helps you understand him so much more.
It's so wild that between this and WandaVision, that once Marvel went serialized, they're so fucking powerful.
Oh my God. Well, because they have the time to tell these stories now, you know, and also you always have to give Marvel a little bit of asterisk, which is you've had 11 years to create these characters. And to that point, they have. A lot of production companies would have squandered these characters.
Well, I was
Marvel has
thinking-
taken advantage of every single
Yeah.
one of them.
And like Black Panther did it well, commentary. Both this and WandaVision have really good, fucking strong, powerful messages. And the only other times that I can think of where they even like tried to do that was with PTSD Tony in Iron Man 3. And I feel like that was just tone deaf. It was not serving the purpose that we thought it should have been.
To an extent, I will make an argument for that storyline, though, real quick. And this is from watching them in chronological order in the way that I watch them. So the way I watch them, for people that don't know who care, I go from the Avengers, I do Thor, Avengers, Thor 2, Guardians 2, to have kind of a cosmic theme to it, kind of all that. Because basically Guardians wanted to take place around the same time as Thor 2, Iron Man 3, and Cap 2, right? So for me, I'm fascinated by, you know, like I could care less if Iron Man 3 is in 2013 and Guardians is in 2014. I like these storylines, right? So you kind of carry the cosmic storyline, blah, blah. But then once you get to Iron Man 3, it's been 3 movies since the Avengers. So he's had a lot of time to like think about this in the context that you're watching it in. So like his PTSD comes in, you're kind of like, I mean, he did fly through a wormhole and nuke what would end up being Thanos' army. You know what I mean? Like for a guy who was famous for, you know, kicking the ass of guys that wore suits like his, he defeats a demigod and basically an Eternal to an extent, and then he has to just live life after that. And if you watch that, then you watch Winter Soldier, which I think was, you know, maybe their first super successful attempt at a commentary like this, which is basically like, don't trust the people in charge. You just never know, you know?
Well, and it's one of those things where, I mean, fuck, that Winter Soldier, to me, commentary-wise, was really powerful because it does call into question a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It makes you question certain things. Like, I'm wondering, because Zola's entire thing was like, we wanted to create a world so chaotic that people were willing to give up their freedom for safety.
Yeah.
And once I rewatched that in like 2015, 16, like around the time that these shootings were going off, I'm like, if you want to look at that way, there could be a fucking mad conspiracy that they're trying to get people to get rid of guns so it's easier to fucking, you know, totally fucking pacify people to just take over.
There's, you know, and I don't want to get too into it because I don't really know the full details. I just heard about it on a podcast. Basically, something like during the Bush and Obama administrations, they were sending these guns down to Mexico, and that these guns were getting into the hands of cartels and were directly, you could trace the serial number. These guns were directly responsible for killing multiple U.S. agents and police officers and blah, blah. Again, like, and like the government knew that this was happening and they weren't stopped. Again, I don't know the full details of this, but like, that's not crazy. That's really not a crazy thing to think. And that's where like, yeah, in Marvel, we're dealing with basically the most heightened version of the Nazis and the CIA imaginable. But like, again, if you're looking too into the specifics of it, you're missing the point. If you're looking at the overall message, you're seeing it. And that's where, going back to, you know, Tony and Cap's crossing arcs, I think where Cap, I mean, it's very clear, like, can't trust the government, have to start doing things for myself, begins that process. And Winter Soldier, really, really cool, super well executed all the way to the end of his journey, and now proven to be even more well executed after his journey is over, which is crazy storytelling. I'm so impressed.
Oh, me too.
But going back to Tony with the PTSD, because we talk about how it's like, oh, of course Tony saves the day in the Avengers. Of course. Like,
yeah,
whatever.
that specifically put me off so hard to him that when I saw Iron Man 3 twice in the same day,
Right.
I was just kind of like,
but to that
everybody
extent,
just loves Tony. Why just
Right.
Tony? Like,
well, and this was the problem with releasing it Avengers, Iron
right
Man
after.
3.
Yeah, because once you put it that way, I'm like, if there was a little couple movies break between it, probably would have made more of an impact than it did to me.
Because in the Avengers, in the first 2 Iron Men, he's very much like, I'm Tony Stark, big dick in it, I'll do it all, whatever.
Yeah, we got front loaded with Tony. We got super saturated.
Well, he worked. And back then, they didn't know if the Avengers was going to work. So as long as you had Robert Downey Jr., you could make some money, right?
Well, they didn't know Captain America was going to work. That's why they had to put the subtitle, The First Avenger. They're like, I don't even know if anybody's going to come see this fucking piece of shit.
Yeah. I mean,
they probably didn't even call it a piece of shit, but they're like, people are probably going to think this is stupid. We better put it in the title that this is a commercial for the Avengers.
Exactly.
Come see this to go see the Avengers.
Yes, exactly.
Literally, the post-credit scene was an ad for the Avengers.
Yeah, exactly. So, they've done very well with what they've set up just for their own business purposes. But to that extent, when you go back and you watch that and you watch Tony go through that, because that's really Tony basically realizing he can't do it by himself. He got lucky. That's what I love that Marvel did there is they made it realize, Tony got really lucky that all kind of came together.
Oh, I mean.
And he has to deal with that for the rest of his life.
That was the whole the suits.
Right. Yes, exactly. The suits and basically just having PTSD all the time, him losing the suits and having to do a lot of the movie on his own. It's a really good movie when you watch it in that context. And then you watch Winter Soldier and you see what happens to Cap and just this structure of S.H.I.E.L.D. that you felt so safe in for a set of movies. And then you watch Age of Ultron, and based on what Tony went through very recently in Iron Man 3, when you're watching them, you really understand why he creates Ultron. When you see why he creates Ultron, and then you see in Civil War his action, it all starts to make sense. And I don't know, it just becomes such a much more empathetic character for me because I'm like, oh yeah, wow, he really, really goes through a lot, because he really is the only guy left. He's in the suits and he can do all sorts of crazy stuff. But at the end of the day, when Tony loses his suit, he can't do anything. You see it when in Civil War he fights Bucky. Yeah, I mean, he shoots the thing and does that, and then he gets his ass kicked, and then Black Widow and T'Challa have to come save him, So, long-winded answer there why I think, just...
Iron Man 3 holds its merit.
Yeah, I know, and it's hard. Again, another weird one for me it's a hard one for me to admit, because the twist I'm still not a huge fan of. I can accept it now, and I can enjoy it. I still don't love it.
It would have been good if our expectations weren't subverted. If it was just Killian,
now
I could get behind that. Honestly, it would be kind of interesting to see them do a fully original villain. Because, I mean, Aldrich Killian, his character in the fucking comics, is just some fucking dorky scientist.
Yeah,
literally that. He's not this.
Yeah.
So...
And maybe Shang-Chi just blow the Mandarin's so badass in it. We're like, it's a good thing Ben Kingsley wasn't him. You know what I mean? Like maybe Marvel routinely does this kind of stuff to me. But yeah, where were we? The water pump ain't working. She's angry, not good. They get the boat fixed. They get it running. They get it going. And then Bucky bounces. Bucky bounces to go. Is it to go talk to Yuri? Is that why he ends up leaving?
I believe so.
Yeah. And so in that moment too, and this was Goosebumps City for me. Basically, Sam is sitting there and he's thinking, and this is what he's about to paint over the names. And his sister comes up and they start talking. She's like, that Isaiah guy really got in your head, didn't he? And he basically comes to the realization that yeah, I mean, it is so infuriating, everything that's happened and everything that Isaiah went through and all this stuff. But what was that all worth if I wasn't willing to stand up and fight for, everything, if I weren't willing to stand up every time? And I'm like, yes! That, to me, is what America is. That, to me, is what Captain America is. That, to me, is what everything that is great about human beings is. Regardless of...
That, to me, is a good soundbite.
Let's use that.
That, to me...
That, to me, proves why this is a fucking amazing show.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he goes, and then we get the dopest training montage of Sam Wilson training to become Captain America. And
no serum.
No serum. And yeah, they show quite a bit of him failing, but then he does more push-ups. He runs a little harder. He clearly does flips as a stunt double and catches the shield.
And I think that
it was you could tell when he would do the flips. I'm like, this person's so much taller and skinnier than Anthony Mackie.
It was the one
crazy.
Where he was on the trail,
Yep,
and he did that one, and I'm like, he's way taller and lankier than Anthony Mackie.
That's not the smiling tiger right there. No, But he's doing these flips and catching the shield, and it just
Drinking breast milk. That's
Lots of
the
breast
original human
getting
growth hormone.
That's Dwayne Johnson's role in the MCU. Is his
Pain and Gain.
his
Pain and
fucking-
Gain is canon to the MCU. Anthony Mackie.
Yep, that's what
That
Falcon
was Falcon doing before
Yep.
he became, the Falcon.
Yeah, right, exactly.
And then he's just like, oh yeah, titty milk. Let's get that going.
Get that involved in there, let's get some birds and some mammals involved. You know what I mean? I feel like he says some stuff. They call him Uncle Sam. He says some stuff to the kids. It's all good stuff.
Oh, that just didn't even click for me. He's American. He's America. He's gonna be Captain America.
He's
Uncle
Uncle
Sam.
Sam. Yep.
Which, I mean, I was so thrilled when I was 3.5 years old and I became Uncle Sam.
Well, I think they say it in the first episode. She's like, "You really like what they call you Uncle Sam, don't you?" He's like, "I mean, And then he just kind of moves on. But like, again, and this was something that
I liked Uncle Sam until I learned that Uncle Sam was really used just to be, I want you to die in a war we're going to lose.
That's what all marketing is, really, at the end of the day.
I mean, he was Captain America, honestly.
Yeah.
In a way.
In a way. But so then we have a little moment where Sharon makes the phone call.
Sharon.
Again, we don't really know too much about what's going on. Maybe she's the power broker, but she's talking to somebody who's very angry, and they're
foreign.
In an Algerian prison.
That's what she said. I just got you out of an Algerian prison.
Which, for me, if we're making assumptions, I think that's Batroc.
Me too.
Because then Carly is in the park and she's talking to the guys that are her followers, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're getting some help." And then Batroc shows up with a briefcase full of explosives and weapons, and he just opens it in the middle of the park because he's Batroc.
And the other guy's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And then
Yeah.
she's like, "Watch this." Sends out a text.
Yep. And then all the people. Yeah.
And I was like, I think that's what QAnon wants to be.
That's
just to be able to be one guy sitting in a park and then press a button and then activate all the QAnon followers.
We're working on that right now.
Where we go one, we go all.
But I like.
We're trying to make it so that we can control people like robots. Honestly,
Check out my text. Neat.
Those were all the people at the Capitol. They're waiting for Q. They're like, when are you going to tell us to attack, Q? Come on. Come on.
They're just constantly checking for updates.
Just refresh.
Everyone at that park was just refreshing until Carly clicked the thing. That'd be so funny.
Act natural.
Act
Come
natural.
on.
Come on. I want to do it. I want to raid the GRC, But Batroc makes it very clear also. He's like, "Listen, I don't want to join your cause, okay? I just want to kill the Falcon."
Yeah, she's like, okay, you can.
"Yeah, cool. That sounds great. Thanks for the weapons.
Yeah.
Come on.
Let's. Well, we can confirm that we're going to deliver that,
Right.
Even though we haven't seen anything he's been doing this whole episode.
Yeah. And also, if it was Sharon calling to get Batroc, does that mean that Sharon is working for Carly?
Probably working
With Carly, I should say.
Yeah.
Which would make sense because she was in what's the place called? I keep wanting to say Myanmar, and I know that is
it's like a
totally different.
It's like Myanmar or something like that.
Myanmar
It's like
or something.
it was a combination of Myanmar and Singapore.
Yeah, exactly. And she's there. Carly was there. She mentions that. I mean, maybe that's what Sharon's up to. Maybe that's who Sharon called the person, right? And was like, "We got a problem. We got a couple problems." Maybe that was Sharon with Carly being like, "Yeah, Sam and Bucky are like coming for you big time. So you need to get your shit together." Who knows? Which would be pretty cool. It would make sense why Batroc was showing up to help. Or maybe Sharon's the power broker. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Well, and if she was the power broker and she was pulling strings or at least doing some nefarious shit, it would also play to the strength of this story of what does Captain America mean to each of these people that he's affected and touched in their lives. I mean, because like that would be kind of huge if the love of his life's niece ends up becoming a full villain because of him.
Yeah. Yeah. Ends up wanting to rip down borders because of him. Yeah. Because, I mean, what is he? I mean, he wears a flag on his chest and thinks he fights a battle of nations.
You are failing!
I guess
Evidently not.
would have sufficed too.
Of course. Any Red Skull is always very
Any Red
welcome.
Skull is welcome.
But yeah, so then they march, they do their thing. Sam is getting ready. He's prepared. He's got the shield. He's got the stuff. We got. Did John Walker do anything else before the end?
No. He's
okay.
the mid-credit.
That's right. Okay, cool. And that was the one I was going to say. So they go, the GRC, they're getting together. They're basically like, well, we got to basically take all foreigners and we're going to put them back in their countries. And then some people are like, wait, how can we do that? And then that's the one guy that kicked John Walker out was like, no, we have to. There's just no other way. And then the whole place goes dark.
He's just thrown through making everything worse.
Yeah, this guy's really a problem. This guy is the villain.
He is bad.
He's the power broker.
He's Alexander Pierce.
Oh, shit. Oh, fuck.
Oh, jeez.
But, yeah, so it goes dark. Red lights come up. Definitely something bad is going on. I'm trying to think. It just
cuts to black from
cuts
that.
to black. And then we have...
Oh, no. It shows Sam opening the case.
Sam opens the case. Of course, we don't find out what's in the case. Cut to black. Now, go through the credits. Great credit sequence, because now those ones that weren't, there are starting to show up. So like to see Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Not even an and or with.
Nope, she's like number 4.
Guest starring.
Okay,
Yeah, she was billed.
She's in this.
She's in the MCU.
Yeah, she's part of this now. And I bet you she's going to love it.
I bet you she's going to play a big old role in She-Hulk.
Oh, jeez. That'd be pretty dope.
Because that's the thing about this show and She-Hulk and Hawkeye. All of them are going to be the steps towards the next Avengers thing.
Yeah.
Like as far as like the team element of it. While Doctor Strange and Wanda are dealing with the cosmic multiversal stuff. Spider-Man too.
Sure.
But I mean, like, because Hawkeye's retiring. Black Widow is dead. You got Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Professor Hulk ain't doing
Professor
anything.
Hulk. I mean, then you can get Jessica Walters in there. And I mean, Abomination's coming back.
Right.
So why not? I mean, she could be
Black Panther Shuri.
What if she's the next Nick Fury, Jack?
I am so beyond into it, but if she and Samuel Jackson don't have a scene together, I'm going to yell at Kevin. I'm going to be fully honest.
Honestly, that would be so just unique. You've never seen or thinking of those two being in the
Samuel
same scene
Jackson, Julia Louis-Dreyfus have a whole show together, and it's the biggest hit of all time. Regardless of Marvel or anything, it's just the biggest hit of all time.
Sam and Jules.
Sammy and the Jewels. I'd love it. And so we get to the mid-credit scene, as you said, with John Walker. Now, my thing is, because he's clearly building the shield. Like, he's putting together, he's welding, he's spray painting, he's engraving one of his metals into it or whatever. I'm like, dude, isn't the whole thing about the shield that it's made of vibranium? Isn't that like the whole thing that makes it really useful?
Yeah, but you think about it.
I guess he's a
vibranium.
super soldier, so he can sling that thing.
Yeah, if he gets it balanced enough. But I was thinking, in terms of it, it's an Americanized version of the shield. He's using steel, American steel, And also, I liked it too because it was a homage to Iron Man.
Yeah,
he's putting it together himself.
Dun 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 dun.
Yep.
Dun dun.
Ping.
Dun dun dun.
Ping.
Dun dun dun
Ping.
dun. Dun dun dun.
How'd you like that was the final thing at the end of Avengers Endgame credits is just him hitting the hammer?
Oh, that was great.
I thought it was like the nicest little,
Yeah, because
that's where it started.
Friggin' him making that suit started everything. That movie doesn't come out, none of this happens. Not even a chance.
It's a lot better than...
You think they would think to do this after the Ed Norton Hulk had come out? Like if that was the only thing?
No. And well, and I was going to say, as far as like a little like audio teaser at the end of the credits, a lot better than the Dawn of the Planet of the Apes one where you hear Koba under the rubble and then they don't pay that off in the third one. Yeah. And like, Matt Reeves, you're the one who made both of those movies.
You were in charge. You decided to do that, and then you decided to do nothing with that. What's going on with you, man? Don't fuck up Batman.
Yeah.
Okay? Don't fuck up the Batman. Already you got Riddler taping up people's faces. I don't like that, but it's kind of cool.
I mean, the vibe I'm getting from the Matt Reeves Batman is real dark, like taken dark to a new definition.
Yeah.
But it's specifically in the trailer, that scene of him coming into the crime scene after the Riddler's left that thing for him and he's talking to Commissioner Gordon. It's something about the lighting and the composition of those shots that it feels almost gothic.
Yeah.
It's very weird.
Yeah.
I can't really put a finger on it, but I'm like, I like the tone. I like that. I like that tone.
Yeah. I mean, so long as he has an authentic vision, which I don't think they would have made this movie unless Matt Reeves was like, listen, I got an idea for Batman. You know what I mean? So I'm trusting that is the case. And if that's the case, it should be a great movie.
Yeah. Oh, man. Fucking A.
Fucking A.
F and A, Cotton.
F and A.
Oh, man. I think... Do you want to do Primal right now? I mean, we could go another hour and a half.
I know, right? We could say
'Cause,
Primal
yeah.
for the post Falcon Winter Soldier episode.
Let's do
you know?
that. Let's do that.
Because that's a niche show. People don't really know. They don't need to see it as it's coming out.
Yeah. Again, they all came out on Cartoon Network, then dumped all 5
Yeah.
at a time, like Rick and Morty on HBO Max. So
Yeah.
I'm all for it,
I'm into
to
it.
be honest.
We'll do a Primal episode. We'll do an Invincible episode once that's all out.
Yes.
We'll do a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Lots
know,
of good.
because, I mean, we got to do the Marvel stuff bit by bit because we can stretch it out over an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, we can. And then 1/5 of a TV show. We can
Right.
stretch it to longer than some of the movies we've reviewed.
Alrighty then. I think that's a good place to stop and wrap it up. Let's get this coming on. So thanks again for listening to everybody to DMT Reviews. And go ahead, check out bestworstcantina.com. We got that merch on.
Dope.
And go follow us on our various social medias. Follow and subscribe DMT Studios on YouTube. And take it sleazy, Mayor McCheesy.
Love you guys.